Hello everyone, welcome back to our Let's Talk Design. We have another special guest today with whom we will be talking about using stones in interior design. I am soon gonna invite our special guest again and discuss so many things with you guys. I hope all of these sessions are very insightful for you. Thanks again for joining us every Friday and listening to our talks, and we will be taking all the questions at the end of the session. And I hope you guys enjoy our quick chit chat session with our special guest, and I'm soon gonna invite them, so just wait for few minutes as I invite them. I hope you all are doing fine. And all of you must have started going to your workspaces, must have gone back to work full time. I hope it's all exciting. Hi, Aishwarya, how are you?
Hi, Sana, how are you?
I'm good. First of all, thank you for joining us on our Let's Talk Design. And I hope I'm audible.
Yes, very clearly. Thank you so much.
Great. So before we start, I'm going to give a small intro of yours to our audience who are listening to us. Aishwarya Govind is the principal architect of House of Ruya, which is an architectural and interior design studio based out in Bangalore. She's also an alumni of SAP Anna University and the prestigious Pratt, New York, holds the experience from Michael Kors, Bobbi Brown, and WeWork in India and NY. Wow, that's so interesting. She always believes that the design should be in confluence with our everyday lives. How nice is that? I mean, I'm hearing it for the first time. Would you like to throw some light on that?
No, I mean, there's a very common saying that, our environment shapes us and we shape our
Yes,
environment, right?
yes,
So
absolutely.
I think we at House of Ruya, we strongly believe in that, and everything around us, the architecture, the interior, the spaces, the products that we have around us are going to have some sort of influence in our life, and they're part
Right,
of our everyday lives, right? So
absolutely.
that's where the entire thing came into picture.
I think you have particularly picked up how to connect dots with nature in a very well, set format, which is great. In today's time, it's absolutely great. Yes, moving forward with a hands-on approach, the Ruya Studio tries to create perfectly tailored spaces of both aesthetics and practicality to suit each individual client. Do let me know if I've missed out on anything.
No, no, I mean, I think you've covered it all. Thank you so much for the introduction.
Great. I welcome you once again on Let's Talk Design, and we'll be talking about using stone in interior design. So
That's
let's
right.
begin with discussing the benefits of stone as a material for design in respect to appearances for interior spaces. So, as an expert, what do you think?
I think stone as a material by itself has been in human lives for, I don't know, since time immemorial.
Right.
And ever since man started building something out of nature, I think he's been using stone, and it's a very essential element in construction, right?
Right.
Um, Over the many years, or centuries, or decades, I think we've all understood that it's a very adaptable or very versatile material,
Mhm.
and it can suit into any space that you want to put in, no matter what your style
Yeah.
is, because it can be tweaked in any manner that we want.
Correct.
And with its wide variety of textures, colors, sizes, I think it gives a certain sense of uniqueness to a space that you don't get
Right.
from manufactured materials. And every kind of stone, let it be marble, kota, granite, limestone, travertine, they all have their own characteristic appeal, and that's what exudes into the space that they're being used into. So, coming to like just benefits of how stone can work for interior spaces, I think the first and foremost thing is, tying back to my first point, it helps create a connect with nature,
Yeah.
and it depends on how we bring. There's a natural tone to it that it brings to a space, and it is a very environment friendly and a sustainable material. I think if we choose to identify local stones with
Yeah.
our rich landscape around us, if we find the right kind of stone around us and we use it in this space, it becomes a very sustainable practice. It's recyclable, it's salvageable, and it helps us reduce some adverse effects on the ecosystem in some small
Right,
way or the other.
right.
Apart from that, we all know that it's a very durable material. It lasts very long,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
right now in today's situation, like we have stone in every budget range.
Yeah,
It depends on where we want to use it, right? From a local granite to an imported Italian marble, we can actually use every. It's become very affordable, and we can use stone in any different manner that we want.
right, right.
And I think,
Absolutely.
yeah, so I think most above everything else, it's just a very timeless material. So, that's the best benefit of having stone in any interior spaces.
That's the beauty of stones.
True,
Yeah,
true.
yeah. Yes. So tell us about, using stones for diverse elements, like could be ceilings or furniture or anything, even as a decor element for the projects that you use.
I think currently with the kind of technology that we have in our country and the craftsmanship that we have,
Hmm.
we are able to create some extraordinary work with stone of late,
Right.
and we're able to juxtapose many materials together and put it alongside stone, mix and create some interesting combinations in
Right.
interior spaces, more specifically. Um, Functionally speaking, granite countertops, right?
Right.
That's something very the most durable, most hard-wearing material that you can have for Indian
Hmm.
kitchen situations, and they're
Right.
non-porous, least to no maintenance. So something like that, where stone becomes a very functional, it serves a very functional purpose. Two, using something like marble or onyx, where you want to
Hmm.
create a feature piece in a space,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
bringing in some travertine to bring some textural element as a partition or a shelving and all.
Yeah.
I usually refer to Schroff-Leon for the way they
Oh,
use stone with metal and
right.
partitioning systems. So these are some interesting ways you can bring it into the structure or the interior spaces. Apart from that, we always know that stone is the most safest material you can use for furniture, whether
Right.
it's indoors or outdoors. And sanitary ware, a lot of stone sanitary ware has always been
Yeah.
in the market. But with the current methods where we can bring in new textures and new carvings on the
Patterns.
bases and bows,
Yeah.
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 So they
Yeah.
kind of add a certain unique and
Right.
beautiful tone to a space, is where,
Right.
like, these are some generic ways in which stone can be used in a space.
How do you guys experiment with stone, like mostly for your projects? Like, I know you will have different ways for different projects, but what would be, that one kind of experimental element that you use more often?
I think it depends on what kind of project it is and where it
Okay.
is being used. For
Okay.
example, when we're talking about public spaces, we swear by certain materials like granites and all, because they're
Yeah.
very cheap, and like I was,
Yeah.
talking a little bit more about low maintenance.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when we are working on a hospitality project or a luxury interior
Hmm.
project, working with marbles with the beautiful
Yeah.
veins, you can book match them and you can create a pattern,
Yeah.
you can have them
Absolutely.
polished, so that
Yeah.
kind of creates like a luxurious statement piece in your
Right.
space, right? So
Right.
it depends on where it is being used, how it is being
Hmm.
used, and what is the purpose behind it. So a lot of the stones, like with the color textures, for example,
Hmm.
sandstone comes in many colors and stuff. So
Right.
how we introduce it in the space with regard to the overall setup kind of
Right.
determines the overall look and feel and things like that.
Right, right. And how can one utilize the textural and surface quality of these stones, especially to their advantage of design? Because there's a numerous, I would say, a variety of typologies that we work with. Could be commercial, could be residential, etc., hospitality. So, what's
Hmm.
your take on that?
I think very like to a lot of the points I had mentioned before, just
Yeah,
going back
yeah,
to the same thing,
right.
just creating a a rough texture on the flooring, right? In terms of a commercial space, it's anti-slip and
Yeah,
less maintenance, scratch proof, and things like that. So currently in the market, with the kind of machines that we have and the kind of textures we can create, like a Lapotra finish, a river finish, or a polished marble. So
right.
depending on that typology in terms of the whether it's a luxurious project, whether it's a very rustic project, we try to play with ample textures that kind of create a certain feel
Okay.
to the space. Yeah.
Okay. And how well does these stones as a material of art and design respond to the other elements as a part of mood board, or for example, say like fabrics, laminates, and go on like that?
I think this is a very important question
Yeah.
because, especially as interior designers, a lot of times we get into a project at shell stage or
Yes,
at,
absolutely.
a,
Yeah.
at structural stage, and we get an opportunity to play with a lot of these natural materials at a very early
Yeah.
stage. So, for example, taking flooring as an example, right? So, if
Hmm.
we are going towards using stone to do the flooring for an entire space, the color and the texture of the stone plays a huge role, and it sets the tone and vibe
Right.
of the space. Whether it is a beige marble that we want to put on the floor, what do we offset
Mhm.
it with? Like a walnut wood tone or a rosewood tone would
Yeah.
actually work beautifully well with it. Whether we go for like a darker toned marble on the floor, then we play with birch and pine, which are lighter wood. So we
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
use it to juxtapose and create some sort of drama in the space in terms of their color and texture. For
Hmm.
example, not just the beige and the darker colored marbles. In terms of when we go for white marble, it's a clean slate for a lot of interior
Yeah.
designers.
Yeah.
You can play with colors, you can play with textures, you can do inlay work on it, you can
Right.
introduce so
Right.
many levels on top of it. And sometimes like colored stones like Jesselmer and
Yeah.
Kota, for example. I think again they bring a certain language to a space that
To space.
other
Right.
elements cannot. And I think we can select stone to suit any particular solution. Like we can find we will be able to find a stone to serve a certain purpose. But I think what, as interior designers, we should pay a lot of attention to is the character of the stone that we're picking.
Right. Also, they're very
And
minute details. So, like you rightly
yeah,
said, yeah, those characters do matter.
yeah, the veins of the marble, the
Yeah.
color of the
Yeah.
stone, right? So that
Yeah.
determines whether this particular element is going to be in my foreground or in the background,
Yeah.
So based on which we select the kind of fabrics that we want to put on top of it, or the kind of colors that we want to use in this space. So
Right.
the character of this stone, like in your question, you were saying it kind of plays a very strong role in how it
Strong role.
determines an entire space.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to go a little off the topic and ask you because you're based out in Bangalore, okay?
Correct.
And like all of these exterior stones do have
Hmm.
certain differentiation from city to city, even from a region to region, right?
Yeah.
So how is it different in Bangalore than, probably somewhere in North India or probably in East or towards the West? Like, do you feel that there are certain stones which are similar or it's absolutely different?
I think no two stones are similar. Even the same family of stone will never be the same.
Right.
I think um, somewhere, there's a cultural angle to this question of yours, I feel. Because
Yeah.
if you see a lot of South Indian architecture or South Indian temples, if you see, there's a lot of use of granites and limestone.
Yeah.
You will see
Yes.
a lot of sadrali and the black granites being used
Yes.
in temple architecture or
Yes.
monumental architecture and stuff. But as you go north, as you go upwards, you see a lot of sandstone and a lot of marble being
Yeah.
used in
Yeah.
structures and even interior spaces, right? So I feel like every stone that is actually that has come out of a certain area or certain land has a certain characteristic in terms of how it behaves with that particular climate, how it behaves with that
Right.
particular, I would say, landscape. For example, something in
Right.
Rajasthan is going to look very different from something that we find in Chennai or
Correct.
even south
Correct.
down in.
So do you get like any query wherein you have clients saying, okay, you need like a sandstone. So do you get it transported from Delhi to Bangalore? And also, is there any differentiation in application that you do it according to the
Um,
Bangalore climate?
I think one great thing about stone is again like the durability of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
irrespective of where it is being used, it can work well in any scenario. For example, my
Okay.
house, own home has Kota flooring all over.
Oh,
So
okay.
um, currently with this weather condition in Bangalore, where we've seen extremes of sunlight and
Yeah.
like a severe drop in temperature, the maintenance of temperature by the stone has been very even and very
Right.
good on your feet. So stone tends to adapt since it's a natural material. I've seen that
Okay.
it tends
Okay.
to adapt. We try our level best to use local stone and integrate it in our projects locally
Yeah.
because you have some sort of a relation and you identify
Correct.
it better. But in some cases, when we want to create a certain a statement or a
Aesthetic
certain,
or look and feel.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we will have to work around it. But yeah, but we are striving more towards working with local materials and
I think
local.
that definitely works very well in the current times. And of course, everywhere the local source material do give the aesthetics of that region also, which also
But
matters a lot. Yeah. Like you mentioned, like that cultural value has to be
yeah,
there. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's always there. Yeah.
yeah.
No, but then that's true also. Yeah. You rightly said actually. Yeah.
No, it
Okay.
is right. Like we grow up, it's like when you're growing up in a certain area, you
Yeah.
do look at certain things, you relate to a lot of certain things. So when you
Absolutely.
travel
Absolutely.
abroad, when you go outside, when you go to Greece
Mhm.
or when you go to Italy or Rome, the kind of textures that you see are very different, even though it's the same
Absolutely.
sandstone,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
there is some sort of a value that comes from the landscape that it originates from. And I think we as humans tend to relate more to the landscape that we are comfortable
Correct.
in. Yeah.
Correct. Correct. Coming back to our
Yeah.
session, what is the mental, emotional, and physical impact of stone in art and design of an interior space?
Yeah, it's a very tricky question because
Uh,
um, the way we use the stone is gonna, change how we experience that particular space.
yeah.
I think I'm gonna go back to cave architecture, right? Like even when
Hmm.
man used stone in cave also, right? With
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
with maybe the fire and the lighting, it created some sense of coziness. So even today, when
Right.
we use stone in a certain space with a certain kind of lighting, even though it's a very austere, very cold material, it can create a sense of coziness in the space. While
Right.
at the same time, using stone with natural elements like landscape or
Huh.
water creates a sense of like a soothing, a very tranquil effect
Yeah.
in the space. And again, I think to an extent, when you mention emotional, the cultural aspect again comes into the picture, right? So you
Right.
relate
Right.
to certain elements in certain stone in a certain way. So we relate to white marble to purity and
Yeah.
beauty and a lot
Yeah.
of things, and that's coming from history that we have around us.
Right, right. Makes a lot of sense. I do believe somewhere or the other, these things do connect to us emotionally as well as mentally. Like you said, the colors matter. Sometimes the space also matters. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a very common saying, the more you apply whites, the space looks more bigger and
Bigger.
bigger,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So I think the whites and the neutral stones are always a go-to for most of the designers.
True. I mean, it gives us a lot of room to play with
Yeah,
so many more elements in this
right,
space.
right.
And also, like, the larger the space, more elements come into the space.
Absolutely.
And this creates a good little palette for us to set the tone for the
Yes.
rest of the space, wherever we're
Yeah.
using it.
Yeah, we've discussed about textures, patterns, and space, but I just felt like we've missed out on the most important part, which is the light. So how can one enhance, this interior space with stone, in response to a natural light or even in response to an artificial light?
So actually, this question actually reminds me of a particular finish that I saw at a marble yard when I went recently. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it was called a crocodile finish or something. So when
Okay,
I
okay.
saw the texture, it was a very patterned marble on
Mm-hmm.
which a certain texture was created. From a distance, I could sense the veins. I could see the way they flowed and the colors and stuff,
Yeah,
and it looked
yeah.
really great. And then they switched on the artificial light, a warm yellow
Completely
light.
different.
It was a completely different stone. I mean, texture
Oh,
altogether. The
yeah,
amount of lights and shadow, like highlights and shadows that it created, it
yeah.
dramatized that entire space totally.
Absolutely, yeah.
I can see how something like this could work for a hospitality sector, right? So
Absolutely,
imagine
yeah.
during the day you have a calm little bar or something where it's a nice little music and stuff, and in the night when you
Yeah.
have to pep up the energy and you have to
Correct.
completely transform the space.
Yeah. With just one light.
Using, yeah, just one light and
Yeah.
just some texture on the stone.
Yeah.
Let light do the job of creating its drama of light and shadow. So that is an
Absolutely.
amazing, easy, simple way to create a lot of impact in a space. And of course, we have the most infamous onyx. So the way you look at it
Always. Yeah.
in natural light, the colors, the tones, and the moment you switch on artificial light from behind.
Mm.
Recently, we are seeing onyx being used in a lot of temple,
Lot of places. Yeah. Yeah.
mandirs, or in living spaces, in a lot of
Yeah.
residences as well. Because I think it also gives people the scope of not investing in too many things to pep up a space, right?
Yeah.
It is one
Yeah.
element which
Correct.
can completely transform. So,
Right.
light and stone again have been a very classic combination
Goes hand in
forever.
hand.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely. Before we like wrap up everything, what is your one go-to stone? You would want to use
Oh,
it in your house. You would want to use it in every other project. You don't find any stone, that's your go-to stone. What would that be?
wow, that's a very tricky question.
Yeah.
We spoke so much about how stones are
Yeah.
versatile and everything, and then if I have to choose one stone,
See,
um,
you will definitely have so many of your listeners listening to you who will go back, follow you on your pages. They should know. They should know what their designer likes.
I think I am a sucker for marble that have a little bit of a pastel shade to it.
Okay.
Somehow
Okay.
I mean, there's no one particular marble, I would say. There are so many of these marbles that I'm coming across recent times
Mm-hmm.
that have very soft pastel hues with beautiful
Okay.
veins, which exudes a sense of calmness and serenity to a space. So I would love to experiment a lot with, such a marble with such character in many of my spaces. Yeah, so that would be. I know I might not do complete justice to this answer because deep inside I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I like this stone for that reason. I like that stone
Yeah.
for some other reason. But
Yeah.
yeah, to answer, yeah, this would be one of my preferred choices.
Okay. I think it's a fair answer because I know there is a variety of stones. There are numerous
Yeah,
ones. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a fair answer. Yeah. Could you also share a few unique examples of stone elements that you have created in the past or in like recent few years?
I think recently some of the stone carvings, or I would say CNC milled stones that we have come across have been game changing. Again, with when you play with the density of the stone, wherever it is thinner, the light passes through, and wherever it's thick, it is cutting out
It's
light.
like an
So
opaque also.
opaque, translucent. It's the same white.
Nice.
You can just use regular tassos and then carve on it.
Okay.
So wherever it is thin, light passes through, and wherever it is thick, it's opaque. So you can create any type of patterns, and then it kind of brings the character of onyx into marble. So CNC milled marbles, fluted marbles, and all have been a great addition to the interior space in recent time. And I think stone veneers, for that matter, I think those have also started changing the way we approach a lot of furniture that cannot take a lot of weight and stuff. So a thin slice of a certain stone actually giving the look and feel of the stone, yet not having to go through the load and the cons of having a stone in a space. So yeah, and I think man and machine together, I think we've also brought in so many techniques into traditional concepts like inlay work, right? Like any work that you see inlay work with multiple stone, with the right kind of machine, and our intervention with the right kind of colors and textures, introducing brass, introducing wood, introducing many other stones. So
absolutely.
So these are some of these things that have been intriguing us in the last few months, or maybe a couple of years, to be honest.
I'm sure. And like you said, like you already experiment so much with all of these things. I'm sure you will have many more stones to experiment in the coming future.
Definitely. I mean, it is an amazing material to play with, and
I totally agree.
and I think and we should be using more of it in the coming future.
Absolutely. Aishwarya, it was a great session with you. I'm just gonna just scroll up and see if anyone has asked any question. Guys, if you have any questions for Aishwarya, please drop them in the comment section. I think I saw someone who wrote a question. She will answer you quickly, otherwise you will have to go back and DM her. Okay. So you can literally ask her right now. She's given us so much information. I just feel like because we are based out in the north and you're in the south, it's so nice to hear the different side, of the country and the elements that are used there. I mean, it's so nice that India has so much like locally produced stones and the variety that we have. It's so much. Okay, so Mr. Hitesh Patel has asked, which color is ideal to use on the floor?
I think it depends on the overall vibe that you want to set for the space. If you like a lot of, like I was saying, deeper wood tones, and want to bring a very cozy feeling in the space, you can go for a lighter marble and play with darker wood tones and stuff. But to be very safe, white and beige marbles. White is a lot of, you have to take care of it very well. But then beige is a very safe material. If you, it's easy. It blends very well with a lot of elements. So I would opt for beige.
Always. Neutrals always, I think.
Neutrals. I think it gives you a lot of scope. So that's a very safe material to play with.
Great. Great, guys. If you have any more questions, please drop them. Otherwise, we will just wrap our session. Thank you, Aishwarya, once again for joining us. It was a pleasure speaking to you. We will be posting the video, of course, on the page. So, guys, if you have any more questions, you could please DM Aishwarya directly or put it in the comment section. And thank you. It was a great session.
Thank you so much. I think you guys have been doing this for quite some few weeks, and I've been loving
really long
sessions. And I actually learned a lot in some of these sessions, and I'm pretty sure a lot of them would have learned as well. So thank you so much, and thank you also giving me this opportunity to come and share my views on stone.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Aishwarya. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much. Bye.